Hey everybody, back with the CineNerds. Over there is
JP,
Ryan,
and I'm James. And today we're doing Ryan's pick,
The Mist.
2007,
yeah.
The Mist. We will admit this is our second time doing this one because we had a little audio issue that JP just said, "Hell no, we're redoing it." So here we are, we're redoing it.
We released some that were rough, and we had the one that was we had to guess with Rick from the whole damn enchilada. Yep. We went ahead and released it, but since we had a guest on that one, I was like, we'll release this one, but
not again.
We're going to redo the Mist one. We're not going to release it. We're going to make it good for you guys.
Plus, The Mist is an awesome movie. It's got to have the right everything.
So I've never seen this movie. Have you seen it before?
Oh yeah.
You obviously you see it. You picked it. I've never seen it before. I enjoyed it. There's just that one lady that just ruined it for me. But we'll get to that, I'm sure.
All over again.
Again, yeah. I have to hear about that again. I have to relive it again. But it's your movie, so you explain what this movie is.
All right. So essentially, you have a painter, an artist, if you will, played by Thomas Jane, and you start off the movie where there's a storm that's come through. He's dealing with his neighbor. Oh, sorry, rewind. Start off with he's painting. He's painting in his painting room. And basically it builds into there's a storm that happens. They don't know why it's happening. They see a mist, a fog, if you will, coming in. And, I forgot we discussed the fog correlation before. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the mist is coming in, and then in addition to the mist coming in, they've got a military base nearby. So they are basically putting the pieces together, thinking throughout the movie that the military has done something wrong. They don't know what. This storm comes through. There's issues with the housing with him and his neighbor. I'm fucking this all up now. Issues with his neighbor, and they have to go get some supplies. So when they go to the store, they go into town. He takes the neighbor with him, and essentially that's when the things really escalate. The mist that was coming in has now surrounded them. There's things in the mist. Things are coming out of the mist that they can't explain.
Creatures.
All these mentalities go crazy. Different cliques form. There's a division of the people in the store, and it kind of puts a survival mode of humanity in play.
But it does show what could happen. You get a bunch of strangers in a building
who are scared,
stuck, scared.
You see people's true colors.
Yeah,
rats in a corner.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
So
I've always wondered with shooting these things, and I think we might have talked about this before, but like the kid. I always wonder if shooting these kind of movies and horror movies, how does it affect kids, even though they know it's not real, even though they know. I always wonder how.
Sorry, real quick, just to give reference because I didn't cover that point. Thomas Jane's character, the artist, he has a wife and son at his house. The son is roughly, what was he say, 10, 9, somewhere in that
9
ballpark.
Or 10, yeah.
And he takes him with him into town to get supplies while mom's at the house. So go ahead further with your.
I just wonder shooting these kind of movies, what it's like for kids. Like The Exorcist. What was it like? I'm sure they've done some kind of talk with her at some point later, and but I just wonder shooting when you've got creatures fly. And granted, it was not real, obviously, and it was CGI, but they got to act it.
I think for this kid,
he had it pretty easy in this one compared to other movies. He had an easy one
compared to Linda Blair and The Exorcist, where they were making her spin around, levitating her, and
right. The kids kind of kept to the back, to the wayside when most of the stuff's happening. It's the violent scenes.
But you still got to hear people screaming, yelling, the chaos. That makes kids automatically anxiety-ridden.
Rewind. So my kids growing up, I made sure we had the conversation. I know a lot of people don't do this, but had the conversation that make sure you know this is not real. This is fake. It's fantasy.
True.
It's not. It's made up. But when you go back to Linda Blair, like that situation, or the little girl, which her name escapes me right now, from Poltergeist, the original actress, all the things that happen on those sets is just mind-boggling, and I'm surprised Linda Blair didn't grow up with more trauma. And the little girl from Poltergeist passed away. Weird fluke, but
yeah, she passed away when she was filming the third film,
right?
And they had a stand-in. They had to redo some of the shots and. They had a stand-in, so there was shots of her, but it was from behind, so you couldn't see there was a different actor. actress, but she passed away halfway through filming on a fluke thing. I think it was something that made her go septic or something, wasn't it?
I don't remember the specifics to it, but there's a whole special on what happened behind the scenes for Poltergeist. I know we're getting off track, but it's really creepy, and if I recommend any of you go down the rabbit hole, check it out. It's well worth the exploration.
See, this movie also made me go down a rabbit hole because I'm not too versed with Stephen King. I don't like to read. I like The Shining, but I tend to fall asleep during The Shining. It is slow. You got to admit, it's slow. It drags.
The Shining is slow.
It's a great movie, but it's like if you need, I need caffeine to stay awake during that movie.
See, I
love the second one. Well, whatever you.
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, Dr. Sleep. That was so good.
Don't fall out of your chair.
By the way, those are
you
Stephen
agree
King
with me?
movies.
Don't fall out of your chair.
Hold on.
So wait.
Yeah, I can't. That
Put
just
that pen down,
overshadowed
dude.
anything I was going to
Why
say.
am I getting
This is
pointed
going to
at?
overshadow the mist right here. So, Dr. Sleep got.
This is like the third time we might agree.
Dr. Sleep got a lot of hate. A lot of people hated Dr.
My wife
Sleep.
told me that.
However, I think it's one of. If I was to put a top 5 list of the best movies of the past 10 years, Dr. Sleep would probably be in the top 3.
Here's a big one. I disagree with you. So hear me out.
Get out.
No. So I love because of Star Wars.
I'll get out.
Ewan McGregor. I love anything he's in, and I think he was a great choice for the lead role of this. I thought the movie had a lot of potential. I did enjoy the movie. However, I didn't like the approach of the villain in that particular film turning into a super team. It essentially became a super team, and they could have done without that. It could have been one main villain, and that be it.
But I agree. I agree.
I want to go one more. And then I don't want to get too off track, but another one that I liked, wasn't there a second, I can't remember the titles, I'm sorry, but I never saw it until I met my wife, and we watched the original, and then there was that.
There was the reboot.
Yeah, and where they're older. Mm-hmm. I love that one too. The second one I thought
well, that's
was,
all part of the same. That's all part of the same book.
But it's but other people, I had people online when they did the new Ghostbusters Afterlife saying, oh, it was terrible. Dude, I thought
no, it was great
for 25 years. Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't know much about King.
I have a love-hate relationship with King.
But I didn't realize how many short stories
about this,
he's
though.
wrote.
We're talking on about Stephen King, but no, The Mist is a Stephen King film.
True.
So I just want to make sure everyone knows why we're drifting off in the Stephen King world.
I didn't realize how much stuff he's actually wrote. Dude, is that all you've done? You just sit in a room and write? Or are you just this much of a genius? It just comes out in 24 hours. Because he's wrote a lot of stuff.
Well, he's wrote a lot of stuff, but a lot of his stuff is short stories as well. So a lot of these film adaptations are based on short stories.
So there's still screenplay being written. Yeah. So yeah.
So with that being said, let's not forget this because we need to touch on the ending. But let's get into the movie.
Well, let's go back to the beginning real quick, and I'm going to let you touch on this part.
The opening where Thomas Jane is painting. What was he painting?
I don't remember.
The Dark Tower.
He was painting the Dark Tower, the Gunslinger cover. And also there was The Thing. There was a picture of The Thing.
Oh, yeah.
The Thing cover that he had painted. And there was, in one of the backgrounds, there was Pan's Labyrinth painting that he had done. So there was a few different little Easter eggs in there.
Wait a minute. I didn't catch the Pan's Labyrinth one. So did Pan's Labyrinth come out before The Mist?
I think it was based on a book or something.
So it was just artwork.
Yeah, it was just artwork.
Okay, because I was like, wait a minute. I had to do the math there. So that's interesting that Dark Tower's there because...
But I would have to go back and look to see which one came out first. I'm not sure.
But that's still interesting.
They are close.
Because, the Dark Tower, though, given that is... I love the book series. One of my favorite book series by Stephen King, period. I think it's amazing. I think when they got to, I think it was book 6, I started losing a little interest because it's quite a series. But it was still good. But it deals with interdimensional travel and all these other things going on and creatures and beings which happen to be in the mist.
Yeah. And the Thing cover, it was a creature feature. No different than this one, so it made sense why they put it in
Just the fact that you said creature feature makes me hate that whole side of things even more.
The Thing is a fantastic
What's
film.
the difference between creature feature and creeper feature when you go driving down the street with your van without windows? creeper feature. It's like stranger danger.
Hey kids, we have candy.
It was worse when you had a mustache. Oh wait, am I
There
not
was
supposed to
no
talk about
candy.
that?
Did you see what I posted about us going to get the stuff? And I was like, they're like, was there any candy? I'm like, man, I wish there was candy in the Sprinter. We need candy in the Sprinter. I should have put the Batman candy holder needs to go in there as candy holder.
By the way, I worked very late last night, so I will be chugging this large coffee vigorously. So I'm sorry if I
This
keep
is not
sipping.
pumpkin, so don't start your shit.
Oh yeah.
I also
No, what is it though?
Vanilla cream
TT.
TT.
James is dabbling outside of his pumpkin comfort zone.
Let me look. Hold on. My wife sent me the text on how to order this, so I didn't screw it up. Venti iced chai latte with vanilla sweet cream cold foam. This is why I can't order. I can't. There's too many words to order a drink. Like, it's bullshit.
A mocha lotta fuck if I know. That's what I call
It's
it.
not as simple as going in and going, I'll have a Coke.
Like, put all the drinks and put a number next to them and just let me order a number.
That's not what you'd say.
Yeah, if you said it, you're a fucking
Can I
liar.
have a Dr. Pepper?
So I did read another fact about this film that I did not know, and I actually read it yesterday. The original opening that the director wanted to do, the studio made him change. He originally had plans to do an opening scene with showing the military base with the scientists opening a dimensional portal.
I
Hell
would
yeah,
have.
that would've been
I
great.
would have loved that more. It would have tied things a little bit better.
He said that he decided to side with the studio and did not put it in the film because it made it more of a mystery.
Where did you get sourced for that?
I cannot remember. I was just looking up a bunch of different.
Well, I'm just saying, if it's that public of a source, though, I'm almost wondering if the Stranger Things world kind of borrowed from that.
They very well could have.
It's very similar.
I found it on a couple of different sources, and I can't remember where I read those particular ones right now. But
I would have actually really liked that intro better than just like, what is this? Where is this coming? What is going on? I mean, it comes in so. What you got to understand with this movie is, there are military people involved that everyone starts realizing they screwed up something. They did something, but you never know what it is. You never know what they did. You just know they did something, which is kind of like real life now. They did something, but we don't know what they're doing.
And then there are a group of soldiers who are trapped in this grocery store with all the other strangers, and the group of soldiers don't even know. They just think that they were about to go on leave, and they were excited, and they get in there, and they're all of a sudden they're trapped with everyone else, and they don't have answers, and things go sideways.
Exactly. So, and I'm not a big conspiracy. I love a good conspiracy theory when there's some root to it,
or if it's just so outlandish that it's
just so
fun.
like is Paul McCartney really dead? Like, I love that film. That movie is so good.
But
I believe
a
that
conspiracy theory is
I kind of do too.
a conspiracy theory is only a theory until it's proven right. Just saying.
You need to watch Paul McCartney really is dead.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind doing an episode just on that rabbit hole, and I don't even like the Beatles. Not one song.
See, I love the Beatles.
I'm in between here. Hold on. So this is a great balance here on this one, because as far as the Beatles, I couldn't stand them and thought I put them up there next to Jay-Z for overrated. Yes, I think both those are overrated. I thought forever that, and then my wife, she grew up listening to the Beatles, and she loved them, and so our kids grew up with the Beatles as well. So now it's like a focus point in our family. So like, I love hearing my kids be happy with music and appreciate it.
Right.
But I still am like, the Beatles.
I think they're some of the greatest songwriters ever.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. The White Album's phenomenal.
The White Album is amazing.
But I do think they are overrated. I think they were just ahead of their time and they got lucky. Like any other band that comes out and does something first and everyone freaks out. Let's get back to movies.
What'd they do first? Never mind. Yeah, forget it. I don't even want to.
We all can talk about music forever.
So let's get into this. So they all get stuck in a grocery store, convenience store, whatever you want to call that. And then the power went out. They need to go fix the generator.
They had to go fix the generator, and so they go
Thomas
to the back
Jane
door.
goes back there, and the door is it's a big metal garage door, for deliveries, and it's pushing in, it's getting hit. He's like, hey, something's out there. Like it gets fucked up. I don't want to give it all away, but it gets really fucked up, and then guys, people start thinking they're calling him a liar.
Here's the thing. We can give it away because this movie's been out for years.
Not true,
but that aside too,
you guys keep picking movies no one's ever seen.
But that's okay. I'm actually. He's going to do the obscure ones, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to do the middle ground, and you're going to do the more notable
By the
movies.
way, Jersey Shore starts next week on February 8th.
Look at the camera, please. Just
February
right
8th.
in the camera.
Look at
New
the
Jersey
camera.
Shore.
Look at his lip.
We have Santa Hitler. Santa Hitler just was in the room.
It's my Vanilla Sweet Crow phone.
Wow.
Fuck yourself.
That was fucking... I'm glad you looked in the camera at least, because I didn't have time to even grab my... No, I didn't even...
Lick it.
I'm not doing your... oh, my God. There it is. We have it on film this time. You should.
You don't waste the cold foam.
Please.
You pay extra for the cold foam.
In the edit of this, please go in and zoom
Add
in
pumpkin.
on this moment and just
Make
focus.
it pumpkin.
Slow it down.
Put a dude in front of him.
Let me look you right in the eye.
So again, we've gotten off topic. So let's get back to the mist. So
garage door.
I'll give it away with the garage door scene. He can stare at me all he wants because he tries to do this and seduce me all the time, but it's not my vibe. So he gets it.
It's his vibe.
The garage door, though, as it opens, this whole thing unfolds with them going back, hearing noises, hitting against this garage door.
High five.
That was me just still blocking you out. And when they get to this garage door, there's a younger kid. I'm trying to remember here.
He's a younger kid.
Well, that was Shermanator.
Yeah, it was Shermanator.
Shermanator.
The Shermanator. American Pie.
They open the garage door, though, and they're like, "You go out there. You go out there." And the kid's like, "I'm going." He finally goes.
Oh, he was on a mission. Like he wanted to prove he could do something. Because they were all saying, "There's nothing out there. Just go."
And then the tentacles. And the tentacles come in.
You see tentacles that are very reminiscent to something you would see out of The Thing.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, quite literally. These tentacles come in and they have mouths on them.
And even though they get the door closed, they do lose the younger man, but they manage to chop off one of the tentacle arms. And the tentacle arm is just sitting there. And so they go out and they try and explain this to the rest of the people in the store, but nobody believes them still.
Well, the neighbor basically tells him, "You think they're going to be fine,"
like,
and then he
full of
immediately just turns on me. You're just taking it personal, which that guy plays that role all the time.
Well, and then the store manager, he's like, he doesn't believe them either, and they're all like, "Well, come back here and look at this." And so the store manager goes back and sees the tentacle.
They touch it, and it just disintegrates. Which I thought was weird. I still didn't understand that. Why, if you didn't touch it, would it just stay there the whole time?
It's an important part, though, I feel, because it gives a little bit more solidarity to the storyline where you've got these people in a vulnerable glass window scenario. We don't know why the creatures aren't coming into the store more aggressively than they were trying. I mean, the flying things got in at that one point, but
it was never said. But I still think that their environment was within the mist.
Yes, and so when they touched,
the windows open.
When they touched that tentacle, though, that's why it kind of went poof and it just disappeared, turned into flake.
So basically, a faster version of, what is this thing? Never mind. Move on. Because there are things in our world, like if we go into a cavern and we touch it, like if you ever go in a cavern thing and you touch it, it stunts its growth. It's killing it. So it's kind of like a million times faster version.
There's a specific mushroom that I can't remember the name of it, but when you run your finger across it, its defense mechanism is to change color. So you can actually draw on this mushroom essentially, and it'll stay there. So it's things like that, like just the environmental change. Yeah.
So the store manager comes back out, and he was like one of the ones that was gung ho about like
he jumped.
You guys are ridiculous. This is there's nothing going on. He sees the tentacle, comes back out, and goes, "We have a problem."
What's store manager's name? Because I want to talk about him a little too as we go.
His name in the show or the person?
Like the show. Was it Ali? Was it Ali?
Ali was he was the second in command guy, shooting the gun.
Oh, that's right. Well, I want to talk about Ali, but we'll talk to store manager then. Carry on.
Well, he comes out, he looks at him, and he's just like, "We have a problem." When he was one of the ones that was kind of with everybody else saying, "Shut up! This you're being ridiculous. You're being paranoid."
Right.
So at that point, everybody gets split. That's when the split really, really happens.
It's instant in this movie. Like, I mean, no one was like, "Well," and it's so common sense. Prove it. Show me. They don't even want to go back.
We're talking grade school cafeteria split. So there's different cliques going on. You've got religious crazy lady who was the one that you started out talking about, which really
we all hate.
We all hate her. And her
Look,
character's made
do
to
your
be
thing
hated.
with religion, but good God, this movie could have been 20 minutes less of just taking out her.
But she's
on her
she's
rants,
a
but it's a
pivotal,
very. I get it, but
she
it
is
just
pivotal.
could have been. It could have been so much less.
There could have been a lot less. The religious aspect is a rough one, especially where she took it, because she took it from a position of power and corrupted the fuck out of it to her agenda.
And I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to make people upset, but that's why I have such a hard time with religion. Because it's not about belief; it's about forcing you to believe what I believe.
When you have people like that particular woman, that's when it's problematic.
Agreed.
And there's not a problem with religion. I have religion, but when you have people like her, it becomes problematic. This woman is so vile that she
makes you look bad. She makes the whole thing look bad.
She riles people up to the point that they literally murder someone.
Like basically lottery style. She wants the next person to be selected as an offering.
She said something about a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And once you go into sacrifices, you that's where you've just lost it.
I do want to touch on this because it does hit home on a personal level. So, I was baptized Catholic, and parents got divorced very young. Wife grew up Jehovah's Witness, and so those two backgrounds in learning, and to each their own, it's fine. But this is my experience. There's a lot of hypocrisies for me. Things that I don't like or see that I agree with necessarily. And that said, this woman took those things to the next level for me. Mm-hmm. And it made every bit of my skin crawl to the power that religion has and how it holds power over people. And I don't want to diminish the strength that religion can give certain people who need it in their lives.
Exactly.
Because religion is a powerful thing in the regards to where it can build people up and make them better people, and I applaud that. But this woman is the epitome of everything everyone hates in religion, I feel.
Agreed.
So her character, even though she was annoying as hell and you want to hate her, was designed for that purpose. And she did it really well.
She played the part great. And so there's in the beginning when Thomas Jane's character walks in, the bagger, Ollie, at some point they go, well, who can shoot a gun? Because they have a gun. And you never expect the nerdy bagger guys like, I've won championships shooting guns, you know. And so it's kind of funny because at one point they have him shooting and he's missing. But then when you get to her, I'm not missing.
Ollie, I love the actor who played him because I feel like he's one of Hollywood's underdogs. He's such a unique and odd-looking man.
He is one of the best role characters.
Yeah,
he plays the best role character.
So was that one William Sadler? Was that who that was?
No.
Sadler was one of the guys.
Sadler
that
played
go,
like the redneck guy.
Him.
Yeah. He ended up siding with religious zealot. But
that's right. Yeah.
Ollie though, I love him because he was in Shield.
Okay.
He was in Shield. He's in Wayward Pines. He's been in a few movies I love. He plays a good villain, oddly, and he can do a great German accent too. So the dude is just stellar. So his moments in this movie definitely shine, especially taking out the lady that we all hate.
Well, and you have to understand, he takes her out because they corner the group that's trying to figure out what to do.
They kill one of the military guys.
Yeah, they kill him.
They sacrifice one and
they're going after them.
Not just one of them.
Yeah.
The coolest one there.
The coolest, the one that plays Darth Maul and
Starkiller.
And Starkiller.
And what's his name in Being Human?
His
character in Being Human?
He's the vampire.
He
is... I cannot remember.
Oh my god, it's going to drive me nuts. Well, regardless,
Let's let it drive you nuts.
The actor's name is Sam Witwer, and he is just absolutely stellar. His characterization of Darth Maul, numerous other characters as well.
I think
in
he
Star
actually
Wars.
voiced Palpatine at one point, didn't he?
God bless you.
Very, very doable.
Yeah, I think it was very briefly, but I think that there was something that he voiced Palpatine.
It's just funny to me though. Like he was shooting after that giant, was the bat, right? Whatever that bat thing was, and he keeps missing. And then when it comes to her, he's like, "Fuck her." Done. Like he didn't miss that one.
That's the most satisfying scene in this whole film. Is when the religious lady gets her head.
I don't know. It was pretty satisfying seeing the spiders.
The
See,
spiders.
that was
the thing though when she gets shot is they literally just murder Starkiller. And yes,
Before he pulled out his lightsaber,
I'm going to call him
and
Starkiller.
cut up all the spiders. Different movie.
They murder him. They shoot her, and then they start screaming that they murdered her.
Exactly.
When
the hypocrisy.
They literally just murdered.
Well, because in their eyes they did something righteous and just, and that's the crazy thing. That's literally. We live in that world right now, though. This was filmed in 2007, and we live in that world now, where it's like, do as I say, not as I do.
It's the
and
stupidity.
What I did is okay, but if you did it, I'm going to crucify you.
It's the stupidity of like the Salem witch trials, like trial by fire. Like that's the only way you can be proven innocent is if you burn or not. Like really, or
Either
if
way, I'm
you
dead.
or if
you learn
sink,
nothing.
If you sink when you're tied to a rock or not.
So when I was a kid, we went to Williamsburg, Virginia, and we got to sit down on a mock witch trial, and of course we were in line to go in first, so we actually got to sit on the stage as like the jury. I'm like 10 years old. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Well, I don't want to be up here. I'd rather be out there. Like, and it was that shit's crazy. So, but another thing that we need to mention that we're jumping around a lot in this one. We're sorry,
and that's okay.
But with this one, we also need to remember in the very beginning there was that lady who wanted to go home.
Carol,
because of her kids.
The actress who played Carol on Walking Dead.
The whole time we're thinking to ourselves, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot." And at the end, where was Carol? With her kids.
She was with her kids.
She made it home.
Wasn't there a couple actors from Walking Dead in this?
Yes, there was Carol. There was the guy that played Dale. I feel like there was somebody else in there too.
I thought there was two, but I can't.
There's at least Carol and Dale.
Yeah, so, but...
The girl that played... wasn't the girl that played... the one that buddies up with Dale in The Walking Dead, that she's the one that Michonne finds when they go to meet the governor. And I can't remember her name, but
the blonde.
Yeah.
She was the teacher.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was in it too.
That's right. I forgot about the teacher element. That is a crucial one for me. Because that one is so conflicting. Because Thomas Jane's character and his son go to the supermarket for the intention of supplies to repair their house and start getting things together. When they go there and they're all put in the situation where they're trapped in the store, the introduction that happens with Thomas Jane's character to the blonde, what's her name?
And I can't think of her name.
No,
right
I'm
now.
I'm drawing a blank too.
I got you.
So when the introduction happens, though, there's almost like this flirting with the eyes happening, and it's almost like replacement mom is put in place.
It was done. I mean, like, you're like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah,
he's with her now.
Anytime Thomas Jane would go away or have to do something involving protecting or surviving, he'd leave his kid with her. And there was this weird
Amanda
mother...
Dunphy was the name, the character's name, played by Laurie Holden.
Laurie Holden, that's what I was looking for. Laurie Holden. But definitely a conflicting, weird chemistry happening there through the movie, considering his wife's at home and he doesn't know if she's alive or not. So that was a little odd, but interesting.
I mean, I think Jane knew that.
Yeah.
Once it started, she ain't there. I mean, you're going to go check. Yeah. You're going to go make sure, but.
I mean, as they progress, he does find out that she is deceased for sure. So
I'm curious, favorite scenes in this movie, because mine was definitely they end up leaving as an attempt to find supplies, anything.
The creepiest scene for sure is the spider scene.
Yeah, in the other store.
What's creepier than the spider scene? I will argue this.
I mean, dude, they shoot webs that cut your legs off.
Considering
I mean,
being put in position as a father to shoot your own child. Oh wait, I just went really far into that one.
Yeah, we wasn't getting there.
I said favorite, not traumatic.
Well, it was favorite because it was traumatic. That scene will forever fuck with me. We will delve into that a lot deeper.
Get to that in a second.
We're not there yet.
Spider scene.
I like that scene the best.
The scene.
Because it gives you a creepy, like, you feel like something's crawling on you when you're watching it.
So I have this thing, like, I do not like spiders at all. I think the scariest movie ever made is Arachnophobia.
Dude, you have to understand, when we were getting me and Waylon got our face cast on last night for the new mask, watching Waylon, you could see it went flush. Like, he's claustrophobic also. He's a giant mess. And so I go, dude, it's going to be fine. We're only doing our faces. Waylon did like the full, like, scuba diver helmet. And he goes, I need an anxiety pill before I do this. Like I got
to take a pill before I fly. I can't fly unless I
do the same. I can't fly.
You can't just put your headphones in, chew some gum on a takeoff, and you're good?
I put my headphones on a lot better with an anxiety pill because I literally am deathly afraid of heights. That's my thing. Okay. And so I am white knuckled.
I heard you guys once stayed, before I joined the band, you guys stayed somewhere and you walked the 17 flights of stairs instead of taking the elevator.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
I'm so claustrophobic and terrified of heights, I wouldn't take the elevator up.
So Vegas is not one of your favorite places to stay.
I hate Vegas.
So here I am thinking, man, I can't wait till we get to Vegas.
So you know what's funny about the heights aspect? I'm so bad that like if I play the video game Assassin's Creed, there's numerous points where you jump off of buildings into these giant hay piles, and you literally do these like free falling dives. Every time I do the dives in the game, or even when I'm playing Batman Arkham, my stomach drops when I'm coming out. Like it's awful.
We need to take him to Wayland's and put him in the VR, playing that. I can't remember the name of it now, but there's a game where you're in a minecart, and you feel like you're Switchback.
Okay.
And dude,
I've got it upstairs.
Oh, this needs to happen. I need to film this. I'm sitting on his couch. I have the VR for PS4, and I stand when I play. I've never sat and played. I'm sitting on Wayland's couch, shooting, and it's moving, and your chest feels like you're on a roller coaster, and you're not moving. It's cool.
I have, in my life, never, with the exception of one time, quit or walked off a job. Well, I've quit a lot, but that's not the point.
Never walked out?
The walk off only happened once. I was doing an install for audio and lights in a high school auditorium, and the catwalk is at the top of the auditorium, and I had to walk across this catwalk, and it had a graded, I could see through all the way down. I got on it, and the thing started to sway and move, and I'm like, yep, nope, not happening. And I walked off. And I was like, sorry.
I'd have done the same.
Nah.
I'm like, fuck this.
Nope.
Anyway, spider scene. Back on track.
Yeah.
So
they shoot webs, acid webs.
So we were on track because fears, and you don't like spiders, especially ones that shoot acid
I got
webs.
us back on track then.
I'm more afraid of the acid web than the spider.
So I did read another fun fact about this scene. When Thomas Jane he grabs a comic book in there, and he picks up Hellboy to take back to his son. The director originally wanted him to pick up a copy of The Punisher.
I had a feeling you were going to say
that would have been great.
That would have actually been
Thomas
perfect.
Jane did not.
Because he did that, the year before?
So it wasn't long before,
Yeah.
It wasn't well received initially.
Yeah, Thomas Jane did not want to do a Punisher book because I guess at the time him and the producers were having a bit of a quarrel. And so he said, let's do Hellboy because he's good friends with Ron Perlman.
Okay.
And Hellboy had not been out, it was coming out. And so it was his way of making a nod towards Ron Perlman.
That's cool. I like Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
I am a fan.
So they try to do some fighting back. The main group here, because they're being attacked basically, after they take out Religious Lady, they decide to try to get to a car and try to just figure out what they can do. And they are driving for what seems like forever. This was a long stint of the movie.
It felt like,
they went home first, and
he found his dead wife.
Well, yeah, but where was she?
She was wrapped in spider webs against the house.
Yeah, like in the front foyer, just right in the corner like that.
So are there different spiders? That's what I wanted to know.
There has to be because
these weren't acid webs.
There has to be two different. I thought the same thing. There has to be two different styles of spiders. They fight their way to the car. One of them doesn't make it. They drive for what seems forever until they run out of gas.
And that's what I was going to say. It feels like they drive for days.
Yeah. It was more like 3 hours.
Before we get into the meat and potatoes, I wanted to go back a second here. Hold on, because this is important. High five again. Anyways, real gay stuff there. The spider creatures. Yes. So they have an eerie resemblance to the beach creatures is all I can think to call them. I think there's a specific name for them in The Dark Tower, which Stephen King wrote. Mm-hmm. Your opening sequence into The Gunslinger, the first book, I'm reading. I haven't seen the movie. The Dark Tower
movie is garbage, and I stand by that. It's garbage because the books are so amazing.
I love the book, so I didn't watch The Dark Tower because of how negatively it was received. But the creatures are very, very similar to these spider creatures. They're crab creatures, but it makes me think that this is a similar world. That's what's crossed over. Kind of made me feel that way.
A lot of his books and novels cross over with Dark Tower. Even Pennywise, all that kind of crosses over.
What's the TV series?
The Stand.
No, the TV series that brings everything together. It's like Derry,
Castle Rock,
or Castle Rock. Sorry.
Rock.
It seems like Pennywise, all those different elements of what Stephen King's building in his Kingverse, if you will, all come together in that series, and I like that. So, okay, now that we've established the creatures crossover,
well, we're getting to your part. You know, they run out of gas. They don't know what to do, and we talked about this. Where I was like, man, they made that snap decision to just call it a day real quick.
Yeah,
they didn't even
quick.
they there was no well, we're not hungry yet. Like, we could sit here for a while.
So to explain this moment, though,
they're
what's
sitting
happening,
in a car in the middle of nowhere.
No, they're not just sitting in a car. So when they ran out to the parking lot to try and get to this car to escape, there was interaction with creatures that happened where somebody went down. Ollie went down, and when Ollie died, his gun fell out of his hand. He had a small snub nose, looked like a 38, five rounds, and that's all they had was 5 rounds. Or was it a 6-shooter with only 5 bullets? Either way.
Well, he used the one on her.
And
then
I know
there was
that.
only 4
but
bullets.
there was
only 4
5.
left.
There was 4.
There's 5. Wait.
There's 5 people in the car, 4
4,
bullets.
and that's right. So 4.
Yeah.
So needless to say, though, they have a gun with only 4 bullets. And so a decision has to be made. And the only one that has the stomach to be able to pull this off, because he feels they're in a survival mode, is Thomas Jane. So he's looking at everyone. All the adults are kind of nodding back like, I give permission, kind of one of those deals. They zoom out, you see the car, and you can just hear the gunshots. But the moment, like, Laurie Holton, her character too, like, she knew and she was ready for it. The son
wakes up.
The son wakes up for a moment and looks over, and we had a discussion about that previously. But the son, when he wakes up and looks over, just very briefly, but just tying that into being a father and having that moment when you're like, it's either my kid dies horribly or this has to happen, and I don't want my kid to die horribly. I'll die horribly before him. So he shoots his son. It's one of the most powerful scenes of the whole movie to me because of the internal struggle that happens, and then the pain, the genuine pain and sincerity of his screams after it happens, and the emotion you see him portray in his acting. There was one moment where it was a little bit weird for me because one of the screams was like oh. And it was like, I almost laughed for a second, but then I was like, he's in a state of shock. He doesn't know what's going on. So this moment actually plays very well into the rest of the acting that goes on there.
Well, the thing is, me and JP talked once about this, and I was like, man, they did that fast. And he made a good point. They hear noise, and so they assume he's probably right.
They assume it's the monsters.
They assume it's the monsters, and then who did it end up being?
It's the tanks.
It's the tanks. The military was finally showing up.
Yeah.
If they would have waited 5 more damn minutes, and none of them were like starving to death, none of them were sick, no one was hurt, they just shit themselves.
But that's how life is, though. Like you make a decision based on what you think is going to play out, and it doesn't always happen that way.
Now, I think for me, I remember watching this when this movie first came out, and I think that this is one of the best endings in cinema.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great ending, and it's just like you were talking about with the movie The Game. Once you see this ending, you will you will never feel the same way.
I still rewatch that.
You'll never feel the same way again when you watch it a second time because it's one of those shocker moments. But the ending is so good. It's problematic. We've talked about should he have waited. Me personally, I would have waited till I at least seen the monsters before I shot my son. However,
you know what my path would have been? As soon as I saw the military people, I would have gone up to them, grabbed one of their guns, and shot myself in the head.
Yeah, absolutely.
My wife's gone. The people that I just had as a group are gone, and I just had to kill my own kid. I don't want to be here. I'm done.
No.
So, and during this time, when you see the soldiers with flamethrowers burning everything, and the tanks coming in, you see a truck come by with Carol,
and
her kids from the beginning of the movie.
You're like, son of a bitch,
and she
made it.
gets away. another thing that I read, originally they was going to do, and the reason they did not put this in the film, they had decided they were going to do a second truck. They were going to film a second truck coming through with the people from the market to show that if they had never left, they would have survived. The only reason the director did not film it was most of all the extras had already left, and before he could get the shot done, and that was the only reason he didn't do that shot to put it into the movie.
That's a shame, because that would have actually given a little more cringe to it.
Yeah.
We didn't need any more. He shot his own son.
I mean, yeah, that was brutal.
That's like top of the line. You don't need any more than that. So ultimately, let's get into some numbers, huh?
Yeah.
So, what do you think the budget was?
I had all this up before, and I don't have it.
Yeah,
now,
so this is going to be a guessing game for me because I did remember it from before, but I'm going to say it was like
I want to say
50 mil.
Budget? No.
Yeah. I was going to say like $5 million.
It's $18 million budget.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It made 57.3.
That's the number I was mixing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a win. Great movie. That's a win. I mean, this is not a movie to me that would not stand the test of time as far as you can't watch it again because, you can watch it again, but you don't, like you said, the ending's the only thing that's like, oh, damn, but now you know. But the rest of the movie was actually really good. But the thing is, it's 126 running time, minutes-wise. It was a little long.
It could have been
They
shorter.
could have cut 15, 20 minutes here and there between the drive, her losing her shit.
I actually, so the drive is the only part that I think that could have been dwindled down a little bit.
I feel you could have lost a good 5 to 7 minutes of the religious part.
I think you could have. I mean, because it went on for a while.
It went on for a long time in the middle there.
I mean, yeah.
They could keep coming back to it for quick ones, but it sat in there for a minute.
It sat in there for the first... Now, granted, I'm talking. You got the intro
when
of
she
the movie,
really hit hard. It was
but
like
she's in the movie within the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, and she's there until long after the first hour,
the first attack. Yeah,
and so to cut 3 to 5 minutes of her parts out just to slim it up some, I don't think is unrealistic.
So could it have been done? Yes. Do I think it should have? No. And I'll tell you why. Because this movie, one of the things I appreciated about it is that, like we were talking about The Shining earlier, The Shining takes forever to get over the hill. Another movie we've talked about before, The Babadook. The first 45 minutes
I might
of
actually
shit,
watch that soon.
and then you get to the last hour and you're like, fuck, this is good.
You hate the kid for the first half, you feel bad for the kid the second half. If you don't, you're weird.
In this instance, though, the thing that The Mist did right was that it went 0 to 60, it got right to the meat and potatoes, and they went right into this. And then every time you thought you were comfortable and you're starting to adjust the movie, you'd bring the religious lady back in, and she'd piss you off. And it kept you engaged. And every time I thought she was gone, she's back pissing me off. So I thought it was good.
And I agree with that, but at the same time, I still think, for me, I think if you would have cut 3 to 5 minutes of her stuff out, and let's say 3 minutes. Let's cut 3 minutes of her screen time out and added 3 minutes into the pharmacy with the spiders.
Yeah, that part was quick.
That part was quick.
It could have been way long. I agree with that.
It was probably also much more expensive.
I'm sure it was.
Not my problem.
Yes, very fair. But I'm saying as far as what we wanted and what happened would be determined by those things.
So I don't remember our ratings on when we had when we did this a couple weeks ago. We had to redo. We're redoing it now. So
yeah, I don't remember either.
What's your nerds?
Just because I have seen this movie multiple times, and I'm basing it off of this watch. So, had I rated it the first time I watched it, I would have rated it relatively high. I think this time I'm going to say probably 3.5, just 3.5 nerds, just because I've seen it. I've seen it a number of times, and on a rewatch, it doesn't have the impact, but it is still a good movie.
I categorize this in sci-fi. Well, I should go last. You go ahead. It's my movie.
Give it a 3.62.
6.2 now, really?
I just wanted to get
it going. I was like, you son of a bitch.
No, it was a good movie. Like my only complaints are I really do feel she could have had less. Like she played her part great. Nothing wrong with the actress. Nothing wrong with how she played it. It's just I felt like that particular character was just too long. And the drive was at the end was just. I get why it was there, but it could have been. Honestly, I would have been fine if they said 5 hours later and they ran out of gas. Like, they could have did something like while they're driving, put that up, and then
After the house, after they left the wife.
after the house, yeah. Like if they would have did that, I'd been like, all right, cool.
See,
And
I feel like that part, because it was what it was, it seemed a lot longer than it actually was. I think it was a lot faster.
I
than
don't
we
care if it was 30 seconds.
I was actually going to say the same thing. I feel like the drive, it wasn't actually that
30
much.
seconds of film felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't that much
it
of a screen time, but it felt like it took
like
forever.
you know the end's coming. Let's wrap this
the
up.
cinematography transitioning, the way they keep going in and out of frame for the effect of them driving along, that was a little annoying.
And I think that's what made it feel like nighttime, daytime, nighttime, day, like days.
Yeah, it made it
versus,
feel like it's like you didn't have that much gas. No one's car can go that long. What do you give it?
I'm a sci-fi nerd, and I definitely consider interdimensional creatures sci-fi. So I'm going to go with, based on that, and also one of the best endings of a movie I've seen, 4.2 CineNerds.
I guess I'd probably be at 4.1 if you took that lady.
I feel like if this had been how I felt the first time I saw this movie, I would have rated it where you have it. But on a rewatch for me,
you've had time to pick it apart,
and especially a rewatch that I have seen not just 2 or 3 times. I've seen this movie 15 times. So for a rewatch for me of this movie at this point is
okay. So your rewatch is what? What's your score?
That's what I said. 3.5.
3.5. What's your first time score? Take it back.
If I was to go back and try to imagine the first time, how I felt the first time, it'd be around where you're rating. Okay. Around a 4.1.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I think we've hit this one. Why don't you tell everybody where to find us? 3, the number 3, CineNerds@gmail.com is our email. And also, if you go to our Facebook, you can look at our, in the bio section, there is a link tree where you can find any of our podcast platforms that we're available on. And also, we have a merch store there now. So if you're interested in any CineNerds merch. You going to get me something?
Something pretty.
Is it shiny?
And pink.
I don't give a shit.
CineNerds tutus coming to you.
Ooh. Please, we would genuinely like to know this information. Whether you email, whether you send us a message on Facebook, whether
you're in the live chat on Thursdays at 8 p.m.
We would love to know what platform you're using to listen. Are you only watching on YouTube? Are you listening on Apple? Are you listening on Spotify? Like where are you finding us? Where do you listen to your podcast? So we know. We are planning another. We talked about it today. We're going to do another live. excuse me, another live episode in February. So when we figure that out, we'll announce that. And JP wrote an email.
Yeah,
you got a little special guest coming.
We got a special guest coming.
We do have February 25th at 8:00 Eastern Time. We are going to do a live episode with.
So that's going to be live too.
We're going to do
so
that
we might
live.
do a couple live next. Okay.
So
we'll do it live.
We're going to do this one live February 25th. It's a Sunday, so it's not our normal Thursday. With William Butler, who you may know as he played in Friday the 13th Part 7. He played in the 1990 Night of the Living Dead remake. He was also the brother in Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. He also wrote
Demonic Toys, Gingerbread Man.
He wrote Ginger Dead Man. He directed Ginger Dead Man 3.
He's also got a lot of credits for makeup, special effects.
He's done a lot of
it's
makeup.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, he's
Did you put his IMDb
career
in the post?
Did not, but
next time you share it, we'll put his bio so you guys can go find him or just look him up. Just we all pay for internet and smartphones. Try using it.
Yeah. So, but he will be here. He will be on the live broadcast with us on the 25th. We'll be talking his past films and some upcoming projects he has as well. So,
awesome.
Always remember to click like, subscribe, follow, share. Sharing
Sharing is caring.
I was just going to say.
I almost said sharing is caring. Then I went to change it to sharing helps more than you know.
So
he said caring. So.
Really quick, I'll just say this before we sign off here. That sharing thing, we see everyone who shares it because we can see people share it, and we appreciate it beyond words because the real deal is it costs $0 to share, and it helps everyone out. So we greatly appreciate it.
So with that being said, we are your CineNerds. See you next week.
CineNerds out.
Later.